My girlfriend used to be uneasy about snakes, so I never thought I'd own one again, until she surprised me by secretly researching, picking one out, and planning to gift me the cutest Kenyan sand boa ever. I've always known I was terrible at picking out jewelry. My taste, apparently, leans toward hopeless boyfriend territory. I once gave my girlfriend a heart-shaped necklace, thinking it was sweet and romantic, only to learn afterward from one of her friends that heart-shaped jewelry was, in her words, tacky as hell. So, yeah, I've learned my lesson. When it comes to anything shiny and sentimental, I outsource. I'm 28, and I've been dating my girlfriend, let's call her Mia, for 3 years. She's 26, thoughtful, beautiful, sharp as hell, and somehow still in love with me despite my questionable taste in accessories. I've known for a while now that I wanted to marry her. Mia has this way of making everything better just by being in the room, and she's been with me through some of my lowest points, never asking for anything except honesty and respect in return. She's it. She's my person. But proposing? That's a whole other ballgame. I wanted everything to be perfect, or as close to perfect as I could make it. And I knew that started with the ring. Problem is, I had zero clue where to start. Cut? Clarity? Setting? I couldn't tell a princess cut from a cushion cut if my life depended on it. So, I did what I always do when I'm out of my depth. I called in backup. Specifically, I called Justine, Mia's best friend. We've always been close, and over the years we've built a friendship independent of Mia. Nothing inappropriate, of course. Justine's been like a sister to me, the cool and brutally honest kind that tells you when your shirt sucks or when the gift you're planning to give your girlfriend is going to bomb. She's saved me more times than I can count. She knows Mia's taste better than anyone, and I knew if I was going to get the ring right, I needed her. It just so happened that Mia had a weekend trip planned to visit her sister and meet her new baby nephew. The timing was perfect. I invited Justine over under the pretense of catching up and getting her advice on the ring. She showed up with coffee, 3 ring catalogs, and her usual no-nonsense attitude. We started going through options together, sitting on my couch, flipping through page after page of rings. She'd shoot down half of them before I even finished a sentence. Too flashy, not her style. She's not into rose gold. It was humbling but necessary. After an hour, we were getting nowhere. This is useless, she said finally. Let's go to an actual store. You need to see them. She was right. Online catalogs weren't doing it. But I wasn't sure how long we had before Mia got back, and the last thing I wanted was her walking into the house while I was out with her best friend, buying a ring. So we figured out a plan to subtly text her and get a sense of when she'd be home. I texted her, "Hey, I'm thinking of ordering takeout later. Any idea when you'll be back, so I know when to place the order?" After I bought the ring, everything was supposed to feel exciting, joyful even. But what happened next threw me off completely, and I haven't been able to shake it. Justine and I were still standing in my living room, smiling and congratulating ourselves for picking the perfect ring, when I got a text from Mia. I had messaged her earlier to casually ask when she'd be home, saying I was thinking of ordering takeout and wanted to time it right. It was my way of subtly making sure I had enough time to shop with Justine without raising any red flags. Mia replied, "Should be a few hours. Just met up with Justine to go shopping." At first, I just stared at the screen, not fully processing what I was reading. Then I turned the phone around and showed it to Justine, who was standing right there in front of me. She blinked at the message, then looked back at me, as baffled as I was. I'm right here," she said, half laughing. What the hell? It wasn't like Mia to lie. That's what really got me. She's the most open person I know. Spontaneous, yes. Always making last-minute plans, absolutely, but she's also honest to a fault. That's something I always admired in her. We've never had trust issues. We've always prided ourselves on being the kind of couple who could talk about anything. So seeing her fabricate something so specific and so easily was like a punch to the gut. We tried to make sense of it. Maybe it was just a miscommunication? Maybe she'd been planning to meet Justine and forgot to update the plan? But as I stood there with Justine in front of me, clearly not out shopping with Mia, that hope crumbled. When Mia finally got home, everything about her demeanor was normal. She greeted me like usual, kissed me on the cheek, kicked off her shoes, and started telling me about her day. I watched her, trying not to look like I was analyzing her every movement, but I was. I couldn't help it. I wanted to see some clue in her face, guilt, nervousness, even just a flicker of hesitation. But there was nothing. We ate the takeout I ordered. We sat on the couch and watched an episode of a show we'd been binging. She curled up next to me like she always does, head on my chest, laughing at the funny scenes, asking me questions about the characters. And all I could think about was the lie. I didn't say anything. I couldn't, because to confront her, I'd have to admit why I knew she was lying. I'd have to tell her that Justine was with me, helping me pick out an engagement ring. I wasn't ready to ruin the surprise or blow up the proposal plans. But I also couldn't stop my mind from spiraling. If she lied so easily about something like this, what else had she lied about? I hated thinking that way. It didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like us. Over the next few days, I kept going back and forth. Part of me wanted to believe it was nothing. A stupid cover for something harmless. Maybe she was planning something sweet for me, or just didn't want to explain her actual plans. But the other part of me felt uneasy. I knew it was a lie. A clear, intentional lie. And even if the reason behind it wasn't terrible, the fact that she didn't hesitate made it worse. She started picking up on my mood pretty quickly. Mia's very intuitive, and she could tell I wasn't being myself. I kept brushing it off, tired, distracted, work stress, but I could see in her eyes that she didn't fully buy it. Now I'm stuck. I'm sitting on this ring, supposed to be planning one of the biggest moments of our lives, and instead I'm mentally stuck in this loop. Do I ask her about the lie? Do I let it go? What if there's a simple explanation and I ruin everything by making it into a thing it's not? But what if there isn't? Every time I look at her, it breaks my heart a little. Because I love her. I want to trust her. I do trust her, or at least I thought I did. But this one small moment has cracked something in me, and I don't know how to fix it without potentially unraveling something even bigger. 2 days after that weird text, I couldn't take it anymore. I'd spent 48 hours pretending things were fine, pretending I wasn't walking around with a growing knot in my chest. Every time I looked at her, Mia, I felt this mix of affection and confusion. This was the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, the woman I'd just picked out a ring for. But suddenly, I was questioning something that used to feel like solid ground. Honesty. I had thought about using one of the many excuses people online had suggested. Some of them were actually pretty clever. Just say you ran into Justine at the grocery store, one person said. Say she dropped by to return something, another suggested. But none of those things would make sense in our context. I'd already told Mia I was staying home to work on things around the house. That's why I couldn't make the trip to visit her sister with her. So how would I have randomly run into Justine or ended up at a jewelry store? Even worse, if I said Justine had stopped by to help pick out jewelry, that would sound too serious. Nobody calls over their girlfriend's best friend to spend an hour at the house looking at necklaces or earrings for a random gift. That kind of setup only really made sense if it was for something major, like an engagement ring. And if I went that route, I'd either have to lie and say I wasn't planning a proposal, which I was, or ruin the surprise. I hated all of it. I hated the mental gymnastics. I hated that I was turning over lie after lie in my head trying to come up with something that wouldn't blow up in my face. It felt like I was contorting myself into knots just to protect a lie I didn't even tell. So I decided to just be honest. That night, after dinner, we were cleaning up the kitchen. She was humming something under her breath, loading dishes into the dishwasher, completely unaware of the hurricane in my chest. I finally just stopped what I was doing, leaned on the counter, and said, "Hey, can we talk about something?" She looked up immediately, her eyes soft but alert. "Sure. What's up?" I took a breath. "You probably know we've been thinking about marriage for a while now. And I figured you might suspect a proposal was coming soon." She blinked, curious. "So a couple days ago, when you were out visiting your sister, I asked Justine to come over and help me pick out a ring for you." Her eyes widened, her whole face lighting up. She gasped and broke into a huge grin. "Wait, seriously? Oh my God. Are you proposing soon? What's it like? Did you already pick it out?" "Wait, don't tell me. I want to be surprised. But oh my God, is this really happening?" It was actually kind of adorable. For a minute, I just laughed. Her enthusiasm was contagious. But I had to bring it back. Okay. Yes, it's happening, but that's not the point right now." She tilted her head. "Then what is?" I opened my phone and pulled up the text she had sent me 2 days ago. I read it back to her. "Should be a few hours. Just met up with Justine to go shopping." Her smile started to fade a little, her brow furrowing. I said, "That's the part one don't get. Because Justine was with me the whole time." She saw the message, and we were both confused. There was a beat of silence. Then she laughed. Not nervously, but genuinely, like she'd been caught in something ridiculous. "Oh my God," she said, dragging the words out. Okay, I can explain." She looked slightly embarrassed, but not guilty. I wasn't cheating or anything like that, she said quickly. And I definitely wasn't out buying a ring for you. Why did so many people in the comments think that was what I was doing? I chuckled. Right? That came up a lot. She shook her head, clearly amused. No, the truth is, I didn't actually go to see my sister either. Now I was really curious. She admitted that she had taken the day for herself. She had been feeling overwhelmed and emotionally burned out for a while, between work, planning family stuff, and honestly the constant stream of social events we both get dragged into. She had originally planned to go see her sister, but at the last minute she canceled and decided to do something for herself. She booked a spa appointment, went for a quiet lunch alone, and then spent some time walking around one of her favorite parks. I just needed to disconnect for a bit, she said. And I didn't want to explain it because I didn't want to justify needing a day off from people, even people I love. So I made up something simple. Something that wouldn't raise questions. I stood there processing. She added quickly, I shouldn't have lied. I know that. But I promise it wasn't about anything shady or secretive. It was just me being selfish for a few hours and not wanting to have to answer for it. I believed her. The relief that washed over me was overwhelming. All that anxiety, the mental spiraling, the distrust, it didn't vanish instantly, but it finally had somewhere to go. It made sense now. So, you know how some people are dog people and some are cat people? Well, I'm a snake person. Always have been. I grew up around snakes. My dad kept a few as pets, mostly corn snakes and ball pythons, and some of my earliest memories involve watching them slither between his fingers or curl up under their heat lamps. There's just something about snakes that's always captivated me. How calm and self-contained they are, how beautiful their patterns can be, the quiet confidence in the way they move. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, they've always felt kind of magical. Anyway, fast forward to last week. My girlfriend was scrolling through her phone, and I was half paying attention when she suddenly handed it to me and said, "What do you think of this little guy?" I looked at the screen and nearly dropped the phone. It was a photo of her holding the most adorable little Kenyan sand boa I have ever seen. Like, I don't even know how to describe how cute the snake was. Perfect saddle markings, a chunky little face, and those beady little eyes that somehow melt your heart if you're a snake person like me. And I was like, wait, what? Whose snake is this? She grinned. Well, she was supposed to be a surprise. That's when it hit me. My girlfriend, my sweet, slightly snake-wary girlfriend, was going to surprise me with a pet snake. I didn't even know how to react at first. I was stunned, honestly. She saw the expression on my face and just laughed. I knew you'd react like this. You've been so patient about it, and I figured maybe it was time. Apparently, she'd been doing her research for weeks. Watching YouTube videos, reading care guides, asking around at pet shops. She even reached out to a couple of online forums to ask about beginner-friendly species, which is how she landed on the Kenyan sand boa. They're small, calm, easy to handle, and generally great for people who are new to keeping snakes. And more importantly, they're really cute. Like, cartoon character level cute. We're picking her up next week. She already has the enclosure ready, under tank heater, thermostat, aspen bedding, water bowl, the whole deal. She told me she's been talking to the breeder to make sure the snake is eating well and shedding properly. It turns out she'd planned to surprise me on our upcoming anniversary but got too excited and kind of let it slip. I did feel a little bad at first for ruining the surprise, but she assured me that seeing my face light up the way it did was worth it. And honestly, I've just been on cloud 9 ever since. I've been going through name ideas. We have been thinking of naming him Pumpkin. So yeah, I know this story might not be as wild or dramatic as others on here, but it's been a really special moment for me. I never expected to share my love for snakes with someone else, let alone have my partner go out of her way to bring that into our life together. It's been one of the most thoughtful things anyone's ever done for me. Life is good. Thanks for listening, and if you guys want a pet tax once she's home, let me know. She's seriously the cutest little danger noodle you'll ever see.